Good morning. Thank you all for being here. We know that so many of you had to either drive in extra early this morning or came in very late last night to be here, and we've honored that you've chosen to spend your energy and expertise with us today. We've got a terrific agenda, and I hope that the connections made just help you continue to grow your digital inclusion network and ecosystem. I'm Sarah Hall, and I have the best job. I'm the director of the Institute for Emerging Issues at NC State University, and I wake up every day thinking about how we can make this state more prosperous so that more people and more communities across more regions can benefit economically. We do this by connecting North Carolinians across different sectors, regions, and perspectives for collaborative work on critical issues that are just beyond the horizon. And though we're housed at NC State, a Research One university, we aren't your typical policy think tank. Instead, our policy work involves connecting leaders like all of you in this room to information, to resources, and to each other. It's bringing people together, like we are doing today, to discuss and debate challenges and innovative solutions to issues that we're wrestling with, and building capacity to work together to create meaningful change. And while there's no shortage of important issues, we intentionally focus on efforts on topics that have the greatest potential for common ground and collaborative action. In addition to educating leaders in our work, we lift up potential solutions they can move forward. Whereas we say at NC State, we help leaders think and do. Our signature event is the Emerging Issues Forum, and since 1986, it's addressed topics ranging from higher education, healthcare, the economy, and the environment. And not to toot our own horn, but we are really good at picking the hot topics. In February of 2020, our Emerging Issues theme was none other than, wait for it, technological opportunity and the digital divide. Maggie Woods led that Emerging Issues Forum. Where's Maggie? Woo! All right. And her time at IEI, and you'll hear more from her in her new role at the state in just a few minutes. But what's important to note here is that we consider ourselves a more policy generalists, requiring us to rely on experts and practitioners like you for every new topic that we take on. And with 14 million people expected to call North Carolina home by 2050, our next series of Emerging Issues forums will focus on an issue of critical importance to our economic well-being, infrastructure, and ensuring that we have a highly coordinated future-forward infrastructure plan to meet this demand. Over the next 3 years, IEI will focus on 3 key interrelated issues: energy, water, and housing, while also folding in issues of transportation and, of course, broadband. And while the forum is a key component of our work, it's certainly not the only thing we've got going on. Over the last decade, we've seen growth in our community-based programming stemming from our vital partnerships. Many of you will hear from our Faith and Community programming tonight at our Faith and Connection dinner. And of course, we know that many of you are familiar with our Band NC program, which is putting on this Digital Opportunities Gathering today. Band NC, which stands for Building a New Digital Economy, provides technical assistance and planning capacity for local level digital inclusion efforts. From the beginning of the pandemic, we've had a series of sponsors help fund urgent digital inclusion planning efforts across North Carolina. In particular, we're here today because of the generous partnership of the Dogwood Health Trust, and we want to extend our deepest gratitude to Dogwood and the leadership of Sarah Thompson, Corey Blankenship, and others, and we'll hear from their team later this morning. I also saw State Employees Credit Union here as well as several others that we'll hear from. Also want to say we're going to hear from our partners with the Councils of Government to hear more about their digital inclusion plans this morning. Speaking of which, we want to show you the progress across the state. Currently, 42 counties have soon completed a regional or county digital inclusion plan, and another 43 are in progress. Soon, another 15 counties by the summer, all will be yellow. And of course, shout out to our counties in the West, the 18 Dogwood Health Trust counties and Qualla Boundary. All right. So you can find a copy of today's agenda on your tables, and if you haven't already, there's a QR code to download our event app that has our speaker bios and other detailed agenda items. As you can imagine, we're trying to pack as much in today as possible, but hope you take time during the breaks and lunch to meet other partners so you can keep the momentum going beyond today. And that is really what this day is all about, building the regional network. For those who opted in, our app has an invite list so you can make pointed connections, and there's a discussion board where we've preloaded some of the topics submitted earlier. It's also a space where you can post about questions and challenges that are on your mind. We're so thrilled everyone is here today, and I have to thank our generous hosts at Blue Ridge Community College. I would love to invite up Dr. Laura Leatherwood now to kick off our morning. Dr. Leatherwood has led Blue Ridge Community College as president since 2017, serving more than 11,000 students in Henderson and Transylvania counties. She, when not directly serving students, sits on numerous boards here in the region, economic and business boards. She was recently elected the NC Association of Community College Presidents and was just named to the Business NC Power List for 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, celebrity in the house, Dr. Laura Leatherwood.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, good morning. This is where you respond. So, no, I think I actually have the best job, and I have the pleasure of serving as president here at Blue Ridge Community College. So, on behalf of our Board of Trustees, our faculty, our staff, our students, and our communities, we want to welcome everyone to the college. I do want to say something a little bit personal that Sarah didn't know. I'm a Western North Carolina girl. I grew up in Swain County, right off of the Qualla boundary. I went to college at Western Carolina, where I earned 3 degrees, and I work here in Henderson and Transylvania counties. So I am your people here in Western North Carolina. So it's really a pleasure to have everyone here. I just want to say a shout out. It's really happy to have the Institute for Emerging Issues and our friends at Dogwood Health on campus. But I was thinking about the topic that you all are going to talk about today. And so in preparation for my comments, I asked artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, what's the definition of digital inclusion? And here's what the chatbot said. Digital inclusion is the ability of individuals and groups to access, use, and design digital technologies, services, and opportunities safely, equitably, and meaningfully. But here's the part of the definition that made me take notice. It's important for full participation in society, in education, in healthcare, in the workforce, and economic development. That tells me that this is the very hallmark of the people here in our region and being able to participate fully in society. And that's what we are all about, and that's why we're here. This underscores the importance of the conversation today. So I want to say welcome to our campus. It's a pleasure to have you here. I have a whole team of people. If you need anything at all, you reach out to them and we will get it for you. So enjoy your day. Thank you for being here. And as you travel back to, somebody said Greenville, which seems to be the furthest away, please be safe. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leatherwood. Good morning. My name is Samantha Graham, and I am the Director of Community Initiatives at IEI, and we are also in my hometown. I'm from Hendersonville. One of my first roles at IEI was leading the BANNC team, working with the Dogwood Health Trust to help create and fund the digital inclusion plans in their counties. We're here today to celebrate the past 3 years of hard work led by staff from 5 councils of governments. To kick off the celebration in our program today, it is my pleasure to invite Sarah Thompson, Vice President of Economic Opportunity of Dogwood Health Trust. Not only does Sarah lead the innovative and impressive work, which includes investing in Western NC's digital landscape, she comes from a COG background and understands the vital importance of our regional councils. We're so grateful to Sarah and the whole Dogwood Health Trust team for supporting these incredible plans.
Good morning, broadband champions. Woo! How's everybody doing today? Let me see if I can figure out how to. Advance my slides. So I get the fun job of celebrating the completion of the digital inclusion planning efforts that took place in the 18 Western counties in the Qualla Boundary, funded by the Dogwood Health Trust. When we made this grant to IEI a few years ago, it was our first big grant into the broadband and digital inclusion space. Dogwood is a private foundation in Western North Carolina, and we're focused on the social determinants of health. So health and wellness, affordable housing, economic opportunity, and education, all the things that contribute to someone's health outside of their clinical care at the doctor. So think of the things I just named, and then think of broadband and the use of technology and how important they are to all those areas. So we knew early on that this was an overarching topic over everything we were focused on as a foundation, that we wanted to help have an impact in Western North Carolina. So we started out with the digital inclusion planning efforts that we're here today to celebrate. And then I'll tell you in a moment about how we plan to build upon this network that has created through this process and keep the momentum going forward. So congratulations to all the COGs and your hard work over the past several years. And we'll just take a few minutes to celebrate each one, beginning with the Foothills Regional Commission and their digital inclusion planning. Who's here from Foothills? Could you guys stand up and let everybody, thank you. So each COG did planning within their multi-county service area on a county-by-county level. And the slides today just highlight some of the stories that came out of those planning efforts that they felt they wanted to highlight. So a key partner for Foothills was Connect McDowell, and a project that they're highlighting or working with Connect Humanity and other partners to collaborate on BEAD projects. So I know Connect Humanity is here today too. Could you ladies wave? Yes, good morning. And as a lot of us know, the BEAD projects are this enormous amount of federal funding that's coming down to the states. And of course, it's very complex to access federal funds. And so a lot of the grant making that's been done has gone into organizations that help local communities with the complexity of putting together those projects. High Country Digital Inclusion Plan. Who's here from the High Country COG? Good morning. Let's all clap for High Country. Yay! They worked with the Amy Regional Library System, Avery, Mitchell, Yancey counties. We all know how important libraries are to this issue. Libraries are really, in a lot of ways, reinventing themselves as we transform to a digital society. Wilkes Recovery Revolutions. And another, let's see what their project was. The Appalachian Regional Library System hosted its second annual Device Diagnostic Day in partnership with App State. So access to affordable devices that people know how to use is another real key issue coming out of these plans. And next, we will celebrate Land of Sky. I know I saw Sarah Nichols walk in. Where's Land of Sky? We certainly have a real digital opportunity champion in Sarah, and I hope you all saw that she testified before Congress on this issue. So right here in Western North Carolina, yeah. We have some really strong advocacy going on, and this network that we're building can can really help us spread that advocacy strength amongst all of us. Is Yvette here from Through the Trees? Good morning, Yvette. Through the Trees. Through the Trees, to me, is a classic example of someone in a local community that decides there's an issue they want to tackle and they dive right in, which is what Yvette did with digital inclusion in Transylvania County, helping folks with everything from affordable devices to affordable connectivity. And she's really done a phenomenal job of working on this issue in her rural county. WNC Communities, do we have anyone from WNC Communities here this morning? Not sure that I saw Susan. Again, a nonprofit that works with very rural communities and the community centers that are in unincorporated areas, which are often the places where folks that live in really rural areas go to access a solid connection, perhaps digital skills training, really important partner there. And the Wood FinTech Trailblazer pilot is working on the homework gap. So as we look through these slides, you can start to imagine, which I know all of you know because you're working on this issue, but there's about 1 million different ways that we can insert into our communities and find ways to help the folks that need better connection, better services, and certainly school children are one of them. And last but not least, the Southwestern Commission. I know I saw Russ. Anybody else here from the Southwestern Commission? We'll see again here that we have a library system that really rose to the top of their digital planning efforts. And Clay County, one of the most rural, smallest population counties in North Carolina, it's small but mighty, really took on this issue in providing training and devices to target populations in Clay County. So great job, COGS. Western Piedmont, who's here from Western Piedmont? I don't know that we have any representatives here today. Burt County is the Western Piedmont County that's in the Dogwood region. Again, the library, the senior center, that's a population that we're seeing a lot of digital inclusion work in. There's a lot of older folks in Western North Carolina. I think as a region, we sway older demographically than many parts of the states, and a lot of those folks live alone. And this type of digital inclusion project implementation can really help connect seniors to resources and reduce the isolation from living alone. And again, computers for children and families. So let's give it up for the COGS. Awesome job, y'all. So once someone made a comment as I walked in about, I think it was Sarah Hall actually, about how the network that we're growing in Western North Carolina from this work is indicative of who we see in the room today. And it's a strong network. We have folks from the state broadband office here. We have our friends from the North Carolina Rural Center here. We have a lot of TA providers who help those of you who are the boots on the grounds in your community to actually get these services to the people you serve. And at Dogwood Health Trust, we want to take the momentum that these planning efforts over the past few years have built and run with it and take it further. So the timing of today's event was perfect for Dogwood to be able to announce an upcoming initiative that we're preparing around digital opportunity. So as you can see on this chart, we really see digital opportunity spanning infrastructure, advocacy, and adoption. And we aim to use our resources to help along that spectrum. So with the devices, access, skills training, the applicability to one's life and adoption really affecting the individuals in Western North Carolina, while we're also working on getting the infrastructure dollars to Western North Carolina that we need to close the infrastructure gap. So the initiative structure, and I'll go into timeline in a minute, but we really want to leverage the existing partnerships that are already on the ground and work with the nonprofits and government organizations in the region that already see themselves in this issue, and some that perhaps might not. And so the design of the initiative is to put together community-based collaboratives. We all know that no complex issue is solved by one organization. It takes lots of different kinds of organizations and people to solve and work on complex issues like digital inclusion. So we'll be looking to fund collaboratives that represent a county or a small group of counties that will have a hub organization that holds the collaborative together, and then many other partner organizations that are grassroots, nonprofits, most proximate to the people who are affected by this issue. This chart lays out a little bit of how the management of the initiative will go with our grantee partners. There will be funding for each collaborative partner, nonprofit organization that participates in their collaboration. The hub organization will hold it all together, manage their collaborative, perhaps employ a person to manage the effort. And then there will also be implementation grants attached to the initiative at the end of a 10-month training period so that the collaborative can learn about the issues, talk about the issues, build strength amongst themselves as partners in the community, and then decide which projects they want to take and implement and apply for grant funding for that. So this slide, I won't read through it, but I'll leave it up for a minute. It lays out the roles of the different organizations, and we will have a webinar soon where we'll go through all of this again. I was just so excited that I had this moment at the mic this morning, so I had to take it to announce this a bit early. But the hub organization, like I said, will hold the collaborative, manage the effort. The partners are the organizations that will work with them to develop initiatives within their community. Here's our timeline. So we are working right now with a small group of Dogwood partners to create the RFP. We want the initiative to be what you all need. So we're using a collaborative process to create the RFP. And on June 26th, we'll do an informational webinar that will tell you a lot more than I'm telling you this morning about how we're going to roll this out. The RFP will open in July, close in early August. During that period of time that it's open, there'll be plenty of time for you to interact with us, to figure out what's the appropriate role for my organization. Which collaborative should I be a part of? Should I be a hub? Should I be a partner? We'll talk through all of that and end up with a group of about 10 collaboratives across our 18 counties in the Qualla boundary who will go through a 10-month training process around collaboration, around leadership development, around digital opportunity, learning from state and national experts, perhaps attending some conferences out of state to be inspired by what other folks are doing in rural regions, and then at the end of a year or so, start implementing projects. We also recognize that there are a lot of funds right now going towards this issue, and we want to help Western North Carolina get those funds in. So yes, Dogwood's going to fund the initiative, but there are federal infrastructure funds, there are federal digital opportunity funds, there are state programs, and we want every dollar available to Western North Carolina to end up here. So that'll be a big part of this initiative as well, is to help the region pull that money down. So with that, thank you all so much for being here this morning. Thank you, IEI and the COGS, for the amazing process that you just went through. We can't wait to take these plans, use them as the launching point from which we take the region to the next step with digital opportunity. Have a great day.